Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? I'm Enrique and this is Easy Things to Draw. Today we're going to go over how to draw Bowser. I'm going to show you the supplies I'm going to be using. For one, I'm going to be using a kneaded eraser. There are, a lot of... Actually, I'll make a whole video on erasers later on. This is my favorite eraser, the kneaded one. It's great. Really fun. You can kind of squish it around. This one's almost done though, to be honest. But really squishy. Get into shapes. You can change the form of it. I'm using a regular graphite pencil, and it just doesn't matter what number it is. You can use a number 2 pencil. I'm just using this so that I can get the underlay, you know what I mean, the proportions out of the way. Then I'm going to be throwing over a marker. It doesn't really matter what marker. You can use a magic marker if you want. You can even use a permanent marker like this. See, this is like an Office Depot marker. But I'm using a Copic marker. It has 2 sides. There's a thinner side, and then there's a thick, fat side. So we'll see. I might just use the thinner side. I'm not sure yet. This is a T10. It's not quite black, but it's close enough to black. I feel to use it, and then I'm going to be coloring it with colored pencils. The colored pencils are a Rose Art brand. I'm going to be using black, peach, light green, true green, light orange, and cherry red. So those are the ones. Those come in. Those will come in later. So let's kind of get into this. Whew. Anyways, so with Bowser. Let's just get the, I'm going to start with the broad shapes, you know what I mean, like simplify them down. Obviously the turtle shell, I think of a giant kind of ball. So that's kind of what I'm going to start with. It's going to be a struggle kind of keeping them on the page too. But I start with a circular portion representing the mass, of his shell, that kind of body, torso. He has kind of a smaller head, and I'm just putting a circle there just to keep placement because I'm going to change that immediately. His head isn't really all that round. His leg coming out here. He's got this kind of big, almost like hippo elephant kind of foot, but with spikes on it. Putting those 2 legs there. And with the things I'm doing right now, these are up to change. I'm putting these down as a placeholder, but the proportion is very, the proportion's iffy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting it down there to kind of get something on the page, then judge my proportion. So that's pretty much literally what I'm doing right now. I'm putting down things. You got to put something down so that you can kind of compare it, and then change it or, kind of tweak it. So I'm putting these down. It's kind of broadly. And then I'm like, all right, the shell seems all right. It could be bigger, maybe. I'm going to go into his face first. His face is a little complicated. It kind of has that like Homer Simpson dog-like mouth or something, like Homer Simpson with a dog. And I'm just going to straight up go to this circle and keep that as my general area to stay in. And I'm going to try kind of pulling out different parts of his mouth. He has kind of like, again, that Homer Simpson type mouth. Homer Simpson mixed with a dog. And I'm going to do this kind of light. I'm going to try to stay light. Remember, you can kind of use an eraser to pull back at any time. He has kind of a triangular portion right there in the center of his nose. And then it comes out almost like a little tiger wolf or something. And the under portion of his mouth. You'll find that he looks very different. If he's got no teeth, he just looks so happy and like chummy. He's got this big cheek kind of thing on the side of his mouth as well, where his kind of his jaw meets. And I'm kind of erasing only because I guess I'm kind of using a darker than normal pencil, and I don't want this to get super messy. And I remember I'm gonna trace all this over with marker anyway, so it doesn't really matter how feathery my edges look right now on this because I'm not really, you know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of like being very loose with it. I'm just trying to find my proportions. His teeth will go in there pretty well. They're just kind of normal, spread out teeth. They're nothing crazy. I never found his bite. They didn't never really look super menacing to me. He's got kind of have nostrils on the top, almost on the top portion of this round part of his mouth. Let's pull his eyes out. Eyes are very angular. You know, a big part of it is the eyebrow. That's a big part of his character. It's a huge part of his character. That's a huge part of any bad guy's character would be their eyebrows. You know, the very angular kind of, just like triangles or arrows pointing right down to his nose. His eyes are also triangular because of the, you know, kind of arc of the other, of the eyebrows. I might actually bring these a little bit closer together. I feel they're kind of far away. So I might actually bring this closer. He's got kind of a low forehead because of the hair that's going to stick out. But he's got a very low forehead. That's an example of changing that circle. See, I'm going to pull down the original circle. It's weird too, because like sometimes when you're drawing stuff in, and you're drawing it in as a, when you're kind of noodling with things, because like I said, I usually throw something down. The reason I throw it down is so I can start evaluating where that thing I threw down is wrong, you know? And then I'll just start moving shapes. You need something down to do that. And so, for a while, not always, but you know, sometimes it'll look like a mess. You know what I mean? It'll look like a total mess. You'll be like, you know, and you get kind of scared almost, because I know I do with digital paintings, you know? It's like, man, this looks like a mess for a while. But you just kind of remember where things are, keep track of where, you know, things are in your head, don't panic. That's a big part of it, just don't panic. And then eventually you can start cleaning stuff up. You know, like I said, things will start to come out when you just stay calm. Don't freak out. Bowser. Let me talk about Bowser a little bit. Bowser is such a cool character. I liked him a lot, obviously. I grew up with a Nintendo. The original Nintendo. I think I might even be... Am I too young for that? I don't know. I had the original Nintendo. I grew up with it. I kind of missed out on the second generation, though, after Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, right? I missed out on that. I was the Genesis guy at that time, you know? So I traded teams. Okay, so I'm drawing his hair. His hair goes up a little bit. Big part... Oh, sorry, I have to interrupt my own chatting. His horns, that's a huge thing with him. In fact, he looks so dramatically different without his horns. It's almost unidentifiable as Bowser without his little tiny horns on the side. So make sure to put those in, kind of behind his eyes. Anyways, talking about Nintendo. Yeah, with Nintendo, it was. Okay, hold on. I gotta change the shape of his mouth. I see kind of this round part, and as it curves around, you know how it's gonna go around the edge. It's gonna have a different shape to the other side. It's gonna have a round here, and then it's gonna like have this upper roundness right there, like a different arc. You know, that's just what I don't know. Something I'm changing with the mouth. Anywho, what was I talking about? Yeah, Super Nintendo. Yeah, I missed out on Super Nintendo. So I wasn't a Super Nintendo fan. I was a Nintendo fan, original Nintendo, and then I just missed out on Super Nintendo. I played a lot of those games since, though, to be honest. You know, you can kind of still play them. And, alright, that looks okay. So now, I gotta stop interrupting myself. I'm sorry about that. So anyways, I'll talk about Super Nintendo first. And then after that, I did jump on board for the GameCube, which I heard was, I guess, I got that backwards, you know. I should have been on board for Super NES and then jumped off, you know, go to, you know, for the N64. Sorry, for the N64, sorry. So I went to the N64. I was really blown away by that Mario game, you know, the Mario 64. I thought that was amazing. That was like some of the first like 3D I remember I was playing, you know, because I never bought a PlayStation. And so let me pause what I'm saying for a second. So, okay, I got his hair here. I got pretty much the head in. Now I'm going to be thinking about this shell. And I like to think of the shell, and here's a really weird way to think about his shell. I like to think about his shell as if it was like thick cookie dough that someone just laid on top of his back. You know what I mean? Like a ball. The reason I think that is because the shell itself seems to have properties of that. You know what I mean? It seems to like just lie down like you know, like on this circle. Especially see that with the side of the shell itself. Let me see. I think that's too curved. I don't think it pops out as much. So I put that in there. Now we start messing with that a little bit. I think there's just some stuff wonky. So anywho, I jumped on the Mario 64, and I thought that was amazing. I loved it, and yeah, I thought it was amazing. And after that, I was on the GameCube. I played Mario Sunshine. That was awesome. I thought that was great. I thought it was really creative. I feel people reference that game very little, but I thought that was really, really creative thing. I thought they stayed innovative. And then I was, then just lately, right, with the first Wii, I played Mario Sunshine. I'm sorry, Mario Sunshine. I played Mario Galaxy. I thought that was really innovative. I thought that was great. I thought that was super innovative. Like, wow, you really bring something new, or at least, original enough to a franchise that's been around forever, right? Other than that, I was trying to think of other games I played. Like Mario Tennis, Mario Soccer. Those are all pretty cool. Mario Party, I was not a Mario Party fan. I thought those were a little repetitive for me. I enjoyed them, though. If I went to a house and played it, I enjoyed it. I'm putting in his hand. He's got that kind of, he's got like that four-finger Simpson hand kind of thing going on. So, and again, I'm just kind of putting it in there as sloppy as I can handle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying not to make it too messy. It's messy, but because I'm trying to find it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to pull this thing out of my head. Or like it's like out of paper, out of nothing. So it's just kind of I'm finding it. Wristband. See how I can see it there, but I gotta clear the junk out. I gotta clear all the excess out. And oh, I'm sorry, I gotta throw the rest of the spikes on here. Let me see. Sure. He actually doesn't have a ton of spikes, but I like putting more, to be honest. Going down here, before I clean that hand up, I'm going to go over here and get the feet down. I want to get the whole, usually with a head, I treat the head as its own entity, and I try to fix the head entirely. Not entirely, but more so than not, proportion-wise. And then I treat the body the same way, the entire body, though. I don't just do that with a hand. Sometimes I do, but I will actually kind of. But right now I want to get the whole, make sure the proportion's working with the body, with the pose. He's got that again, flat foot. So anyways, that's about it. I played a lot of those games. And then, stuff with Smash Brothers is amazing, of course. I was a huge addict of Smash Brothers on 64. And then the GameCube. And then now I'm really getting into the one on Wii U, So that's pretty awesome. I mean, I think I played the Wii one as well, the regular Wii one. I think I bought the entire Wii U just because of Smash Brothers. I really wanted that new one. I really wanted that. He's got the little claw hand as well. I'm gonna grab you. Putting that in there. He's got kind of stubby fingers. So I think the body is okay. It kind of. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I got his tail. I'm sorry about that. Really small tail. I remember throwing him from his tail right in the 64. And so now I'm going to try to clean things up a little bit in the body so that I'm more confident with my marker. I might actually be alright with his hand right now, to be honest. It's not too bad. Just the nails on it. I got to work this thumb out over here a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. Trying to work this hand out specifically because I feel this hand is not working very well. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. I'm gonna try to clean stuff up here. It needs to just read. If you heard that term, it needs to read as a hand. Again, not so much in the scribbly phase because we're about to go over it in marker like very, very soon. All right, that would be good enough, I think, to proceed in marker. And then after marker, I'll clean it up some more with the eraser. So I'm gonna grab my marker, and not the fat end. I'm gonna grab the regular, thinner end, and I'm gonna try to go in here. Let me see how thick this thing is. Actually, this one's pretty thin. That's good. I wanted a thin one because when you're drawing something like this, the bigger you draw it, the bigger marker you can use, you know? Right now, this isn't like super giant. So, let me close in there. So let me kind of get close in there, try to marker it up. Give him kind of an angry look there. Going in. I think I've said this before many, many times, but I love going into the eyes first because I feel like if I can get the eyes down, it gives me confidence to do the rest of it fine, you know? I'll make his pupils a little bit bigger, like actual pupils. Before it looked kind of like scared or demon-like. Which demon-like could be good. I just wanted a little bit more. I wanted a little bit more there. I wanted to because I know definitely with eyes, you know what I mean? You can draw them really scary, like snake eyes, kind of undead looking. But I don't feel like you can kind of relate to them or it doesn't give them as much character. Usually I do that for like, you know, killing machines and stuff like that. Bowser, even though I guess technically he's a killing machine, I like for him to have more character. You know, I want to know there's something, when you look at him, there's something going on behind his eyes, you know? Except, you know, other than just killing, you know, even though he's an evil dude. Horns. Nose right here. This is weird because it's kind of an indentation here. I don't want to draw that line. I'll just kind of indicate it slightly. Try to be careful, you know. Pick my shots, you know. Kind of like in fighting, you pick your shots. Uh, let's see. Trying to back of his head over here. Rest of his cheek. I'm gonna go into his hand only because his hand is blocking his face. But I'm gonna still continue on with the top row of teeth first. And then I'm gonna try to get this back row of teeth over here. And I think I got his head all right there. I like that. I'm gonna go into his hand because it's really forward. You know what I mean? In some cases, I would have started with a hand, but I was just like, I feel like starting with a head. All right, got his hand in there. I didn't draw. I forgot the spikes within the wristband. I want to do that before I draw the actual wristband. It's a little bit different with marker, you know, because normally, like with pencil, I would just draw through it and then add stuff. But with a marker, you can't really do that. Throw in the rest of the shoulder here. He has a neck band that I think I just threw in there in the back. I'm just going to leave that as the neck band, even though kind of messed up there, but eh. Stomach. Alright, leg. I'm going to go into his leg here because I think it's more forward. Should I do that? Nah, let me do this hand over here. I was like, I want to do this. And at this point, you got to think very solidly. You got to think confidently with your lines. Because that's how it looks better. Even if it's a wrong line. Let's say you pull that and you're like, ah, that's not what I wanted. As long as it looks confident, it'll probably be alright. You know what I mean? As long as it looks straight, doesn't look shaky. I gotta be careful though, those lines are getting too thick. Um, back leg, I thought that'd be easy to put in. Let's go to his front. He has these three, like a large kind of toes. Going to the back of the turtle shell. As I was putting my hand down there, it kind of rubbed the, what do you call it, the pencil part away. Not away, but it rubbed it, so it's kind of all over the paper. Tail, might as well throw that in there. All I have left is the spikes on his back. So, I forgot the spikes on the back have this little like ring at the bottom of it. So anyways, the camera cut off because of the batteries, but basically I had finished inking it, and now I erased all the pencil lines so I can get kind of a clear look at it. And what I want to do is I want to do the same thing I've done with the other ones. I'm going to grab the thicker side of this marker, and I'm going to just go along the outer edge of the contour. Gonna go along. The reason I do that is I think sometimes, wow, I messed up big time right there. The reason I do that is I feel that it kind of, and I've said this 100 times, I feel it contains the more complicated shapes. And sometimes when you do that, it makes things look a little more complex on the inside. And I think I want to straighten out a couple of lines right here. Just a bit. And that's it for the actual inking. So let's kind of move on to the coloring, guys. Color scheme. I'm going to actually start with his hair. His hair is really... Actually, you know what? I'm going to start with a... Well, you know, I'm going to do his hair, yeah. Going to do his hair. I'm picking red. You can pick an orange as well, really dark orange. I just don't have a dark orange, you know, that doesn't look like my yellow. So I'm going to pick red. But like I said, you can pick orange or red. And it kind of has a very hot color to it, too. All of the colors are very hot. I mean, he's kind of just that kind of character. He has that hot color scheme. As opposed to cool. You know, by cool would be more like kind of dulled down colors. And I'm not doing any really difference. You know, I'm trying to make it pretty flat. I'm leaving a rim of light on the outside. I feel like kind of gives it some very small level of dimension. Pushing down pretty hard as well, right off the bat with these pencils. What else? Also, while I'm coloring here, let me just ramble on about something. If you guys want me to draw any other Nintendo character, let me know who you want me to draw from maybe the Mario universe. Because I would like to do more from the Mario universe. I already drew a bunch, I think. Did I actually draw Mario? I forgot. I gotta look back. I know I drew Luigi and, you know, some mushroom stuff and things like that. But if you guys have anyone from the Mario universe you want me to draw, let me know in the comments below. Right now, if you can. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab the light green and I'm gonna go into his actual face. This pencil's really sharp. It's almost sharp to a kind of a negative point, you know. I would like to have a duller edge to kind of color. I can push down harder with like a duller edge. And sometimes there's a... Let me do this. I'm going to put this yellow right here, this light orange, and I'm going to put it down, not so dark, but I'm going to put it generally down on his horns here. Because I want to do it darker somewhere else. And I'm actually going to do the spikes on his back here with this as well. I'm not pushing down that hard with this though, keep in mind. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push down super hard right here on the balls underneath these kind of rings around the actual horn, around the base of the horn. I'll push down super hard on that. And I am going to now look at his skin, and I'm going to push down super hard on this pencil to kind of get that skin tone. This is a huge part, so I'm going to speed this part up.
Look at Anderson still the same way. I don't know that in some ways it bothers me more that he would issue that denial. You know,
Okay, so my camera cut out again. That was annoying. At least it kind of skipped all this boring stuff because I was just going to fill that in. I was going to speed it up anyway. I'm going toward the stomach here with the same color. I'm going pretty lightly though on the stomach. It's kind of really lightly. Just be patient with it, you know, if it doesn't come out the way you want them. Push down super hard. I'm going to grab a different kind of green. I'm going to go to the shell right now, true green. The other green I used, just for reference on his face, was a lighter one. Like, it was actually literally called light green, but this is called true green, at least on this particular set of colored pencils. Because sometimes they have different colors that don't really coordinate that well. All right. Put it in here. Just being patient with them, not pushing out too hard. If you push down, I mean, I was pushing up pretty hard on the other one because it was a lighter color. This color is pretty dark, so it's not. I don't have to push down super hard on it, really. I could, but I don't really want to. Kind of gives you carpal tunnel after a while, either. It also kind of hurts my hand. I don't have carpal tunnel, just for the, you know, just to tell you guys, but, you know, I feel like I could get if I push down really hard in colored pencils, honestly. That's like the only thing I feel. I'm grabbing this thing, a peach. I'm going to lightly coloring the mouth a little bit. Ah! That just died on me. That thing totally died. I got to sharpen that again. Going over here, nothing too dark. No, I don't want to be too dark with it. Alright. Don't want to be too dark with it. If I darken it too much, it'll look like his kids or whatever. His kids have that kind of look. You color the inside of his mouth with a black. And I'm going to go in here with a red, but I'm going to go very lightly on this one, though. I want it to look pink. So I'm going to go down very lightly. I'm going to grab the black again, and I'm going to put it around his wristbands here. I'm not going to go super dark on that either. If I were to go super dark on the wristbands, I would probably do it with the marker, but I don't want to do that. I think the marker will kill it. It'll it'll be way too much, I think. And this color pencil is tiny. It's from a different set, although it's the same brand. It's still Rose Art. And is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. What I could do is, as an additional thing, I can go around here, around the edges of the shell. Use the side of my colored pencil. Just kind of throw a little bit of, like, almost shadow. Maybe even right here on the bottom. Very little, though. Very little. The nail at the bottom here. Oops, I forgot about the color in the back of his neck here. There you go. And if you want, you can also throw some shadow underneath. You know what I mean? Kind of make him look like he's standing there. Or at least part of this paper universe or whatever. Paper Mario. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys. I really do appreciate you watching. This channel's going great. It's amazing. I'm very close to just like living off this channel. I love doing it. I never want to stop doing it. I really like it a lot. So yeah, just share this video, like it if you did like it. Also check out my new Patreon and check out the store in Armadillo, all that stuff. So I'll talk to you guys later on, all right? See ya.